Hi, my name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help people build intentional, significant legacies for themselves and their families by coaching them in real estate. And a big part of that is we're going to be giving you a market update today on just Anchorage as a whole. And today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to look and see how we've been doing for the municipality of Anchorage up to this point in the year, around the end of September. And then we'll go ahead and go into the month-by-month comparison, compared to that to the previous year, just so you can get some more fine-tuned information on that. So looking forward to that. And also, we are also going to be jumping into the multi-unit market update as well, and kind of see what's going on with multi-unit properties. So lots of good stuff today. Before we get started, make sure you do give this video a like, and if you have any questions or concerns, you know what to do. Make sure you post those in the comments section down below, and be happy to answer as many of those as we can. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Now, the first thing I want to look at is see the number of homes that actually sold year to date, and then compare that year to date with all the other years up to this point. Now, you can see with this graph over here that obviously we've sold more homes than we have before. This right here actually shows us that the next closest thing for the property sold during this time, we sold about 324 homes during this time. The next closest thing is over here in 2019, where we actually did sell about 264 homes. So selling more properties even year to date for the entire year, not just looking at the month slice. The second thing I want to look at is the average sold price for properties for years up to this date, and then compare that to previous years. Now, just looking at this, you see we have a little bit of a difference over here. Okay, not a huge difference. It's about a $2,000-$3,000 difference. What's interesting though, look back over here at the beginning of the year, as we're kind of entering the COVID times, we definitely see that there was a significant increase in the average sold price. So still seeing that we're able to get more overall, even year up to date. And our market numbers later on showing what we're making month to month compared to the previous month to month at the same time period last year. We're still seeing an increase, but this is just kind of interesting to see kind of from the macro view. Now, this slide is very telling. What we see just by looking at this over here is that we see the average sold price has gone up significantly. It says right over here, roughly about 5% it's increased. So it went up from about 370, somewhere around there. Over here is what we're seeing. And it increased about $394,000. That is significant, very very So just kind of speaks to the lack of inventory that we have, and the high demand right now, partly due to loans, interest rates being so good on loans. Now, the second thing that we wanted to look at today was just the month-to-month comparison. So let's look at what Anchorage was doing about halfway through September compared to halfway, about the 20th of October, and see what that same time period looks like the previous year. Now, looking at the total amount of properties on the market during that time, over here we see that there is 1,199 homes that were on the market. Over here, there were 929 homes that were on the market. So significantly less inventory. That's important. I'll get to that in the summary. Now, the second thing we want to look at is for properties that are going under contract during that 1 month time period. Over here, there were 224 homes that went under contract during that month time period. Over here, we see there is 362 homes went under contract during that time. Now, what I was saying before about the high demand, that's definitely a good indication of it. We'll get more to that in the summary. The last thing that I really want to look at for the month-to-month comparisons is looking at the number of new listings coming onto the market. This is important because this is, if we do start seeing a shift in the market, this is going to be one of the first places we're going to see it, is the number of new properties that are going to be coming onto the market. Now over here, last year during this 1 month time period, we saw about 248 homes came onto the market. Over here, what we're seeing is this year it's about 312 homes that came onto the market. That's we're starting to see an increase in the number of inventory that's coming onto the market compared to the previous year. Now keep in mind, we also have more demand than what we had last year. So I don't really see this just flooding the market all of a sudden, but it is something we want to keep a close eye on. Has this been useful for you so far? I sure hope it has. If it has, make sure you do give this video a thumbs up, and also make sure if you have any questions, drop those in the comment section down below. As promised, the next thing that we're going to be talking about is just the market update on what is going on in multi-unit properties in Anchorage during that 1 month time period. Now, the first thing that we're going to check out is the total number of multi-unit properties that are available for purchase on the market. Now, like I said, over here, we've got about 280 homes that were on the market this time last year. This year, though, we're actually seeing that about 258 homes are available on the market. So, like the residential side, we are seeing a compression of the inventory that is available. While at the same time, the pending ratio is going to be higher. So, not only is this going to be lower, but we're also seeing that of those units that are actually on the market, only about roughly 40%, 40% of those are actually available for purchase. Whereas over here last year, roughly about 37 of them were available for purchase. So that kind of gives you a different spin on this. So it's not just the inventory that's available. The second thing that we want to check out is the number of these multi-unit properties that have actually sold during this 1 month time period. Over here, we're seeing that about 30 homes sold during this time. Not necessarily bad, not really moving though. Over here, we're seeing that 46 of these properties sold during this 1 month time period. So what I had said before about demand, this is where we start seeing the numbers happening. A lot of investors are wanting to take advantage of the low interest rates and jump into the game while they can. Another thing that I want to check out if we're looking at multi-unit properties is the number of properties that went under contract during that 1 month time period. Over here last year during that 1 month, we see that 23 homes sold during that time. Okay, not bad. Over here, we're seeing that 45 homes went under contract during this time period. That's again significant. Just shows just how much demand there is for multi-unit properties at the moment. Now, the last thing that we're going to take a close look at is the average sold price for properties during that 1 month time period. Keep in mind, this is just for this month. It's not the entire aggregate or year to date, but it does give us an idea. Now, over here last year, the average sold price for multi-unit properties was $434,000, roughly. And then over here, this year, the average sold price is about $426,000, roughly. So we see a bit of a decrease. So why exactly is that? Well, it can be a number of factors. Number one, it could be that we were just selling larger properties this time last year. Keep in mind, multi-unit means the duplex, all the way up, okay? That all the way up to as many units as you want on it. So that could be a big part of it. Secondly, perhaps also the COVID is just starting to take a big of an impact on property managers and people who own these multi-unit properties, and they just decide they're ready to move on to the next thing. So if you're looking to jump in and start investing, might be an opportunity there. So in summary, what we see is looking at the year to date and looking at kind of the monthly pieces is across the board, inventory does remain low, okay? Average sales price, with the exception of multi-units, is going up. For residential, nearly 5%. That's huge. So if you're looking at getting your property on the market, and maximizing what you can get. This is probably not going to be any better time in the future than what we have right now. Also, demand remains high, so inventory's low, demand's high, even though it is around the November timeframe. And lastly, we are seeing just an uptick in the number of properties coming onto the market. Not necessarily a harbinger of the market taking a dramatic shift in either direction, but that definitely is something that we want to keep an eye on. Demand remains high. I don't see just that level of increase in inventory being a whole different, making a whole lot of difference. Now, if it were to do something like just doubling what we got the year before, then we better, then that's going to be significant, and we better talk about that. So I sure hope this has been useful for you. If you found this informative, do make sure that you give this video a like. Make sure you share it to anyone that might find it useful. And if you have any other real estate questions, make sure you post those in the comment section down below. I do my best to get to as many of them as possible. If you need an answer from me directly, make sure that you reach out to me through my Facebook page, and the link for that is going to be in the description down below. That's going to be the best way to get a surefire response. And also, if you're ready to start looking for homes in Anchorage, we can definitely make that happen. We just have to be very strategic in how we go about doing it. But make sure you download my app. The details for that is going to be at the very end here. So thanks for watching, and
downloading my app is pretty simple. You simply scroll to the description section of my videos, click on the link there. It's going to take you to my website. From there, scroll down, hit download app. It'll take you to a place where you enter in your phone number. Enter that in, click send link. It's going to text you a link to the App Store. And from there, you'll have to click on that, enter in your email address, and then it's going to register you to the app, and you'll be able to start modifying your search. You can modify number of bedrooms, bathrooms, property type. You have a lot of modifications you can do on there, or just draw a shape to it. From there, you'll have the ability to go and just browse through, create your own specific saved searches on there that's going to make sense for you. Go ahead and add notes just so it makes sense. And that's going to be kind of the basic search capabilities. There are a lot of extra bonuses and things to this that make it really beneficial, like walking you through the entire process as a buyer or seller and giving you all the details that's involved with each one of those steps. So never at any point are you going to be lost in the process. So we've kind of just scratched the surface here, but that's just to get you started.